Well, good afternoon, you manic street preachers. I hope you're all doing bloody well. My name's Mikey, and welcome along to another episode of Draw With Mikey, episode 94. For those of you not in the know, hi and welcome. This is the super casual midweek series where we'll just talk about whatever. There's swearing and spoilers, no editing. It's really casual, and the whole point of this is I'm maybe just getting some artwork done, maybe you guys are getting some artwork done in the background as well, or working on anything. Doesn't have to be art themed, but really it's just an opportunity to catch up with you guys by reading through the comment section. And if you've got any questions or things you want to tell me, pop it into the comment section of this particular episode, and with any luck I'll be reading it next time round. Basically, this is my truth, tell me yours. In the background, I'm just trying to work on this particular episode, a Chibi version of a Mikey robot for a Twitch loading screen. Turns out I really don't know what I was doing when it came to trying to colour in a Chibi character towards the end of this, so it kind of goes a bit messy and then I kind of default back to black and white. But this is very much a sketchbooky kind of series. You're going to see some of the best and you're going to see some of the worst of what we get up to. And the whole point is, you've got to forgive yourself for your art failures. It's the only way you're going to learn, and it's the only way you're going to grow. What else did... Oh yeah, last time as well, I asked you guys for some feedback on what you might want or not want to see on episode 100 coming up of Draw With Mikey, which I keep saying is hopefully going to be a YouTube live stream. There is a minor risk that episode 100, I was just counting up the weeks, is going to actually fall about a week after I'm obliged to leave the house, move into a temporary place. So it might well be that we'll hit episode 98 and then there's a week gap or something, and then episode 99 and episode 100. Well, however it kind of works out, if episode 100 actually falls on a really inconvenient week where I might not have the ability to live stream, I'll try to make sure I push it back, but push episode 99 back as well, because I'd hate for everybody to listen to episode 99 and then the following week everyone will tune in for something that's not happening. I feel really bad. So that's just a really quick disclaimer. I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping it's not going to be the issue, but it's sod's law, basically, whilst I've got other stuff going on. However, that is enough about me, guys. You've been too patient. What is going on with you? Ya boy Akira says, what a way to celebrate this round number with my boy Ichigo. Yeah, we did Vasto Lorde Ichigo, just going back to the sketchbook the other week, which is always requested and something I always love to do. But I will be doing a sketchbook challenge. I saw, oh shit, I can't even remember who it was, so I feel really guilty. But I saw another YouTuber's video and they had this really cool video that was something mental. It was I filled a 600-page sketchbook in 30 days, something crazy. We're not going to do that, but I am going to aim for 100 sketchbook pages in 30 days and see what happens there, because I bloody love playing with pens and getting into the sketchbook and getting that pencil back out again, which is just something that you get this tactile feeling that you don't experience in the same way with digital. And also it's nice not to have a big bright screen shining in your face all the time when you're actually getting some work done, but that's just my personal preference. But anyway, episode 93, not really a round number, your boy, but thank you very much. Monkey says, perfect timing. I was just going to sit down and draw, and this video pops up in my notifications. Now I have something to listen to whilst I draw. Love you and your voice, Mikey. Heart, heart, heart. Lesson 3. Monkey, you're too kind. I am aware, I get told this all the time, I am aware that my voice is all over the place. It's much, much calmer when I'm not doing, because you know how when you record for YouTube or other things, you increase your enunciation so that you sound a little bit smoother. But I do know that also in real life my voice isn't that amazing, even when I'm not giving it a little bit of edge, because why not? It's a bit of fun. Elmer's Glue says, say what you will about Bleach's story. I just read that shit because it looked cool as hell. Elmer's Glue, were you a visuals only Bleach person? Because to be honest, you probably felt just as let down as people who are really into the story and the plot. This is really old news, but in a nutshell, Bleach started off really, really well. It was all about kids getting thrown into a slightly different world and having to explore the rules and find their place in society, which is kind of relatable to most kids growing up in general, and had this really cool stuff about Shinigami. And the early episodes had much more vibrant characters. There was this guy who ran a TV show. Do you remember this guy? He had a TV show about talking to ghosts, and it turned out he was doing more harm than good, but he did actually legitimately have some psychic powers and he wasn't a bad person. It was all really, really interesting. And then I'd say right up to the spoiler alert, end of the Eisen arc, I was on board, even if the end of the Eisen arc was they're having, in Bleach, they have a lot of battles where they just float in the air, i.e. nobody bothers drawing any backgrounds anymore and it's just two characters in void. And after a while, it's just I've got no sense of scale, I've got no sense of energy or proportion in any of the attacks. and the artwork was kind of dipping a bit there. And obviously, side story, the guy behind it was just getting his life ruined by the editorial staff behind Jump, and he hated doing it, and I completely understand why. Anyway, poor Kubatite. But you guys already know what's going on there. But all of the later stuff, I was just like, fuck, why is this still running? Do you remember the arc where he had no powers, and like, was that the Fullbring arc? And he had to just meet some new people, and it's literally like, you've just come off of the back of the Eisen arc. And it's not like how Hunter x Hunter is really good at completely shifting the focus and the energy and the type of story from story arc to story arc. So it's fresh and it's like a new chapter and you're still invested. Whereas with Bleach, it was like escalation, escalation, escalation. End of Eisen arc, he's got no power. And it's just like, oh, well, why do I care what happens now? I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to read all the way to the end of One Piece, have this massive climactic ending, and then realize that there's like 5 months worth of chapters going on afterwards, which is all about, you know, just repairing the ship and like having a sandwich and stuff like that. I'm sure One Piece have made that exciting, but you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? In fact, side note, the only manga that's ever done that in a way that interests me, i.e., not only is the story over, not just a particular chapter arc, but for some reason a manga's still going, is 20th Century Boys released a follow-up series called 21st Century Boys, and it wasn't like a new chapter or a new arc. It was all of the characters, I might have said this before, it was all of the characters from 20th Century Boys pretty much just resolving all of the childhood issues they had together in this different environment, because all the childhood issues that they had is kind of what kicked off the entirety of 20th Century Boys itself. So that was really interesting, but that's got quite a good writer behind it. So anyway, basically I've just taken up a load of time telling you guys stuff you already know about Bleach in a nutshell with Mikey and friends. Miwa Cheetah says, try to draw Grimjo. I love Bleach, and you draw too well. Oh, you're too kind. I love your style. Thank you very much, Miwa. Bear in mind, when I do studies, because we just sat down and drew Vasto Lorde Ichigo, which I'm pretty sure isn't technically his right name, but it's how he's most commonly known. I can look at the manga and I can recreate it on a page relatively okay. So I can do that, and I can do that with Grimjaw. But real magic is when I try to draw it myself, and that's where things get really, really derpy. Charles P. said, can you do tutorials on folds and clothing? I need more practice with drawing human bodies and clothing. I have no problem drawing faces though. Charles P. An excellent suggestion. Folds, how they work, and folds and clothing has been requested repeatedly, and it's definitely on the list. It will happen, don't you worry. And Crazy X Gamer says, I love your drawing. Crazy X Gamer, thank you very much, man. Let's have a sip of this. Oh, if I've not said, what I recommend, guys, if you guys are getting some work done, grab yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee if you can. Abelino, the artist, says, hello Abelino. I'm drawing a fan art of the Viking Astrid. Regards, and your drawing is beautiful. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Viking Astrid. I don't exactly know who that is, so I'm just going to really quickly pop that into Google. Images. Oh, is she from the TV show Vikings? Is that the guy's wife? Oh, right, yeah. So was she blonde in the earlier series, and now she's got darker hair in the later series? Mate, she looks so fucking badass. That's awesome. Or is that a different character? I honestly can't tell. Oh, shit, it might be a different... Anyway, I'm going to leave that tab open and we're going to come back to it later. Good suggestion, Vikings. I watched the first season and I was quite impressed, but it just kind of fell by the wayside for other things. I do need to pick that up again. Art of the Crow says, I don't know why, but I seem to be able to draw more when I have your videos playing. That's playing in the background. That's so kind, dude. That is, I mean, I say this every week now, so it's kind of obvious, but yeah, this is like an hour... Oh, I just said "and" loads of time. And this is like an hour slot where I get to catch up with you. YouTube has live functions, but it's not famously amazing just yet. So this is like a really convenient way for me. Because obviously, as the channel grows, that's fucking awesome. It blows my mind. Obviously, I'm grateful. But pretty much the only downside is as a channel gets a little bit larger, that sense of community can start to get lost because I'm less able to read through all of the comments on all of the videos and kind of keep pace. And that would ruin the fun of it for me. So that's why we've got this series. This is my way of, you know, trying to actually touch bases. Most people come to the channel, watch the videos like the tutorials, and they go on and they live their lives and are not interested in hanging around, which is, by the way, that's absolutely fine. Like, the whole point of those videos is so that someone can ideally learn something that they didn't know and then go off and live their life with those skills. I want that. But there are a fantastic group of you guys who are really up for that whole community vibe thing, and so am I. So that's what this whole series is all about. So yeah, get some work done in the background, and Mikey's just going to talk his way through your mind whilst you're listening in. King Godzilla says, good video, bro. It was good to watch you doing what you love. Thank you. I do love that sketchbook. I had you on in the background whilst I was finishing my Red Hood picture. Oh my goodness. Talk about Batman again. I've only just recently discovered... God, did I talk about this last week as well? The Signal, but somebody actually gave me the name and it was like, oh shit, I've forgotten now. It's like Duke something. But there's a daytime Batman because apparently there's a story arc where, I don't know what happened, but apparently loads of vigilantes take to the streets and they all, like hundreds of kids, and they all call themselves Robin or something. And I don't know what happens, but then like Batman at the end of that arc is like, okay, you over here, you're actually quite good. I need you in my team or some shit like this. Anyway, there's a yellow Batman. Short story. That's what's going on. Is it Prime Earth or is it Earth 23? I forget. Anywho, Final Lord Eisen. Final Lord Eisen. See, there we go. Your username perfectly reflects exactly what I was talking about, where the peak of my interest in Bleach reached to. Well done. You have my respect. Granted, your art already has my respect. Oh, dude, double thank you. Regardless, but from one artist to another, well done, sir. Thank you very much, man. NK says, you avec plaisir. It's good. Oh, merci beaucoup, NK. And Joachim Oberg says, who won the tablet? Joachim, that was announced on Instagram. Oh, God, was it? Yeah, it was. And, God, I want to say Yoan. Anyway, somebody did win it, and I did announce it on Instagram. Have a look at the last Instagram post, and you'll see it all there. And if you are listening in, tablet winner, as of recording right now, because I've got all of your details, obviously, I haven't posted it just yet, and I will be emailing you back once I post it with tracking. I've just been really busy trying to cram more Game of Thrones footage. Sibian2 says, whoa, it looks like the manga. Thank you, dude. That's what I'm aiming for. And I'm so sorry, Valeria. Valeria Sinstovalera says, Ichigo! See, you're all coming out of the woodwork. This is a thing. Bleach is it's a very famous example of saying when things are at the top and they go wrong. And they went wrong for a number of reasons. I don't think one person's to blame, i.e. Kubotite. I don't think it's just his issue that's probably made all of that happen. However, yeah, never forget, the beginning of Bleach was great. Okay, don't let later stuff being a bit rubbish take away your pleasure from earlier stuff. And I said this, stopping mid-sentence for another sip of coffee. I can't remember stuff that I say live on Twitch and stuff that I say in previous DWMs, but let me just cover my bases here. If you loved later Bleach, if you loved the Star Wars prequels even, which is stuff that I genuinely now take pleasure in hating, as in it actually makes me happy, so weirdly, really, really weirdly, I'm like a prequels fan again, but don't ask me to explain that. If I start bitching about stuff you thought you really liked, bear in mind, I'm just some arsehole. I'm just some bloke who's, talking into a microphone and putting it on YouTube. Don't let my opinion stop you from enjoying the things that you like, because that's not what I'm about, firstly. And, stuff's made to be enjoyed. Most stuff is made to make a profit these days. But if you can enjoy it and it's actually got good value, then yeah, mate, hold on to that. Have your pleasure. Don't let other people put you down for liking things. Unless you like children in a way that's really not okay as an adult. In which case, you might want to take people's advice. I'm a nobody. Don't look at me and I'm not human. Oh, what a long name. How you doing? Hey, Mike. Hey, nobody. Saturday is a great day to live stream. Thank you very much. I did ask you for your feedback about that, about the live stream day. I've got a notepad file. So, one down for Saturday. Saturday is a great day to live stream. Also, one of my favourite artists is J Lullaby. Heh. I just wanted to... That was a heh that you had in the thing. Just want to let you know that that's one of Shadman's friends, so it's not safe for work. Oh, one of the Shad crew. Oh, okay. Well, what I won't do is put it straight into Google image search right now, because I might blush, but I will make a note for later investigations. Saturday would be a good day to live stream. That's when most of you guys tend to be free for a good, solid slot. Steve, somebody else who also hangs out, gave me some advice, and he was saying that 12 hours, yeah, it's a push. He was suggesting actually, because I'd love to know what your thoughts are, doing an 8-hour live stream, but if I set it up in time, having like the YouTube donation things open. So I'm not like holding people ransom, but basically sort of like if I get like $25 donated during the stream, then that will add an extra hour up to a maximum of 12. So $25. Boom, we'll do a 9-hour live stream. If we hit like $50, we'll do a 10-hour live stream. That seems like a good business idea. And yet also I've got like this really weird hang up about accepting money when I don't think you're getting something back. So like I'll sell you something if it's good. But when I get donations, and I want donations, don't get me wrong, I need to eat and live just like anybody else. It's not a pride thing. It's like this weird hang up. But I feel really guilty about it and really weird. So yeah, I just want to know what people think, because if I was doing a charity event, I'd be like, yeah, motherfuckers, you got to hit me up with $50 if you want another 2 hours on this thing, and then we'll give it to charity. But when it's me just saying I want more money, I genuinely do. So why is there shame in that? But yet somehow I'm just like, oh, is that cool? I really don't know. Anyway, your thoughts as ever would be greatly appreciated on that, because I really don't know what the lay of the land is on that. And it is genuinely important that I want to hear what you guys think, because if you guys, how to put it, like PewDiePie talked about this in a video. I think it was the one that just said, I lied, I'm sorry. Basically when he jokingly pretended a video was sponsored by Volvo, and some magazine ran the story and was like, it turns out he wasn't sponsored by Volvo after all. And you're just like, of course not, you fucking idiots. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that he said something along the lines of the kind of sponsors, the kind of YouTubers that sponsors go for, like think they're going to get the best credibility and stuff, like the Logan Pauls and stuff like that. And I'm not having my own opinion here. Tend to be the kind of YouTubers that have the least amount of actual respect to the YouTube community. Like the bigger you are and the more you sell out, the more obvious that is. Like people think they can hide that. It's like when people put on a false persona when they make videos or when they do stuff live. You can get away with that for a while, but people are eventually going to start to realise that that's not right for you. You're not creating a fit that's natural and you're forcing it. Because we're human beings, we're hardwired to recognise these kind of relationships and states of people to a certain degree. Like you can get away with it for a while, but I don't think you can get away with it and like still live your life happily if that's what you're doing. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that basically if I don't ask you guys what's going on with that and what your opinions on doing such things are, I might think that everything's fine, it smells of roses, and just start to lose touch. And that is how I think you just completely fail at stuff when it comes to being on YouTube and stuff like that. I think it's well important. Anyway, have I explained that enough? Let's go back to... Okay, here we go. Equestria Deventosocus. Oh, God damn your name. This is long, for which I ask your forbearance. Okay, we've got a little bit of a long thing going on here. I'm going to go on speed mode. However, I respectfully disagree with your stance on tracing. When I was in high school... That's okay, man, you can disagree. When I was in high school, I told a girl who was an amazing artist that although I could draw fish, boats, cars, planes and birds, I couldn't draw a human face in full profile. It bears mentioning that we were close friends. She took a large sheet of paper and laid her head on it. She handed me a pencil and said, trace. After I finished, she moved the paper and said, do it again. After several times, she pulled her head up and put a clean sheet down and said, now do it on your own. Just like that, I could. Although unorthodox, she taught me how to draw faces through tracing. That said, it shouldn't be used long term, but rather as a beginner's learning tool. Yeah. So you know what? This is kind of in relation to the last tutorial video I put up, where basically I said, don't trace. Learn to look and learn to observe and learn to draw. And people in that video are just like, well, it's okay to use references, and sometimes I do want to trace. And I was responding to some of these people and just being like, yeah, no, that's fair. I'm not saying like, if you trace, you're now Hitler or something like that. But I was certainly, what I want to do is I want to get people away from that idea of tracing, that using that part of that brain, and moving to the point where they are using that slightly more eye-to-hand coordination, visual relationship stuff. Because if you're tracing over an image, you're just following a line that's already there. And by the way, tracing around someone's face sounds like a really fucking cool way to do it if they're cool with that. That's an awesome story. But tracing over things, you're getting very good to following an existing line. And when it comes to making your own stuff, there's loads of techniques, by the way, about projecting visually the line already being on a page, like literally convincing your brain it's there and then telling yourself you're tracing it into place. We need to talk about that. There are some incredible people who work like this. But the whole idea is that I want you to start thinking. And by the way, again, you don't have to do what I want. This is just kind of one of my kind of attitudes towards it, is that I want you to start thinking about not just covering a line that's already there, but learning to build that line up for yourself. So if tracing around real life faces actually did that for you, that I really fucking like, dude, because what's happening there is that you are literally looking at the curves of the human face. Like, how does your friend's nose line to lips to chin actually work out? How does that roll of a forehead happen? And you're getting it in and you're building it up and you're drawing it down. That sounds really, really cool. But I still think you need to learn to look at it and then separately you need to learn to create it in your arm. You need to build up that relationship between your eye and your hand, because tracing around something that's already there is just your hand tracing around something that's already there. The route that the actual oh god, how can I describe this? The route that the drawing process is going through isn't going up your arm, meeting with your eyes, going through a part of your brain that's spatially aware and learns to retain and memorize and draw these things, and then going back down onto the page. Anyway, thank you for respectfully disagreeing, because I like people who do that, because that opens conversation. That's what I'm all about, guys. You can disagree. We talked about this. You can disagree with me. I don't mind, as long as you keep it on the level and even. And that's how debates happen, and that's how interesting conversations occur. So yeah, if that works for you, winners. But really, and you might not be the example that I'm aiming that tutorial at, but really there are a lot of people out there who are just tracing, and then they're going, brilliant, that's my art. And that's fine. If you're proud of what you've done, again, nice one. But it's you tracing. It's not you drawing. There's differences there. Ravamot Disclose says, fuck dude, that's really good. Oh, rather not disclose. I gave you a name with a bit of an inflection. Mr. Ravenot, thank you very much. Free of charge, dude. Free of charge. And CJ's Manga Art says, awesome Ichigo. Just amazing. Thank you very much, CJ's. The Good Bad Art says, great line work, Mikey. Love the variations in width. Oh, thank you very much. It's all down to that Tombow Fudenosuke pen. That's a nice pen. Oh, and I was wondering, if you don't mind answering, how you got to where you are today. I want to get there, but was curious as to how you did it. Thanks for the videos. Oh, the Good Bad Art, do you mean in a very general sense as an artist, or in a this is a dirty word, a very general sense as a YouTuber? I do not regard myself as a YouTuber, by the way, because that's horrible connotations. Says the guy on YouTube. So yeah, in a nutshell, in terms of artwork, I'm going to give you the super short version. I will make a new FAQ video. I've promised this 100 times that just covers this. So in the future, I'll just start linking people. But basically, my Mum was kind of very artistically inclined, and she was a potter, and so I was always growing up thinking it was very normal to want to draw in your spare time. That was just what people do. Took art at school, completely gave up on art after university, and went into the office life and just did loads of office jobs and stuff like that, right up till kind of now, basically. And then within the last 4 years, I was just oh, I bloody love drawing again. I was drawing a lot, and then there was one guy in an old office that I used to work in. And he was just dude, you should draw and put it on YouTube. And he was like, have you ever heard of PewDiePie? And I'd heard of PewDiePie, but I knew that he was on YouTube, and I knew that YouTube was a place that you could go and watch videos. So this is oh, I say 4 years ago. It must have been, that was probably about 5 years ago now. But never, ever considered it to be a thing that I might want to be doing. So he was just give it a go. And he said, people play video games on there and people watch them. And I was just fuck off, no way people do that. And then obviously now my eyes are open, it's a completely different world. But yeah, it's literally a suggestion from somebody, not quite my boss, but a boss above my level. It was just oh dude, give that a go if you want. If you want to make your hobby a thing that other people watch. Sometimes there's money in it if you get lucky. And I was just boom, and we went off and we did that thing. He's got a YouTube channel as well, and he was one of my first subscribers, but I don't know if he still uploads content. He's a bit of a I want to say PUBG, but I don't think that's what he was playing back then. I think he was playing something else. So that kind of happened, and the really good thing is that when you kind of have to upload videos for YouTube based on art, it turns out you have to get a lot more art done. It suddenly becomes a thing that you have to do regularly, and if you make it a hobby on the side, then there's not too much pressure, because I'll stop doing videos if I'm not in the mood, because when we talk about not forcing it, if I've got shit to deal with in real life, it might get me a bit down. I might just think, right, I'm going to take a break from YouTube, deal with that, and I'll come back when I'm a bit happier again. So it's kind of easier that way. But as I'm kind of doing now, it's getting way more serious for me, and it becomes a bit more of a job. So you do need to kind of make sure that you keep that progress up in order to keep up the video production. So it does force you to keep drawing away and stuff like that. And I have found that to be quite useful as well. But again, you do get locked into rhythms sometimes, which is why all this year I'm just trying to explore as many different kind of ways that I can express drawing as well, just so I don't get too not narrow-minded, but just so I don't go down too much of a thin alleyway to the point that I don't know how to turn around. Yeah, I hope that makes sense as a metaphor. Thank you very much. That was a great question, by the way, Good Bag Art. I'm so sorry I just went on another bit of a side ramble. I'm just making sure that we've got plenty of time. We've got loads. We've barely even warmed up, my friends. Stein's Choice says, Mikey. I'm assuming, because I've just got sir. So are you like doing I say, wait, basically I'm trying to come up with the Akira soundtrack and I've suddenly forgotten how it goes. I say ya, there we go. Got it. Anyway, Stein's Choice. Mikey, I feel kind of bad that I made the episode pause like that, but hope the comment helped some at least. Feel free to metaphorically tap my shoulder about fate anytime. For DWM 100, I'd say 100, I like it. I'd say keep it fast and loose and reel it and feel it out. Maybe have a couple of topics ready just in case of a lull, like anime discussions or art tips. Okay, bye. Stein's Choice. Backup conversational topics. That's a great suggestion. Thank you, dude. I like that. Leonic458 says, finally, not a girl. That's right. I don't draw girls 100% of the time, but on YouTube, I certainly draw them most of the time. RC Gaming says, as a fan of Bleach, I can't tell you how much I love this. This is so beautiful. Amazing job. Dude, thank you so much. Amazing job, Mikey. Mikey, I love you. RC Gaming. You're too kind, dude. Thank you very, very much. Bear in mind, there's loads of incredible people on YouTube, and I keep expanding that now to say Twitch. There's loads of artists on both these platforms doing really similar stuff, trying to be useful and trying to kind of share what they're into, i.e. drawing and passion and stuff like that. So yeah, have a look. Like, don't fall in love with Mikey, Jesus, but have a look at other people who do honestly do it better as well. Just treat me as a gateway to loads of other incredible artists on YouTube and stuff like that, and that'll make me happy enough. The hero John Brady says, I did a quick sketch of this version of Ichigo a few months ago. Yeah, so this is the thing, and I know I've just literally said I was interested up until the end of the Eisen arc, but the one thing I will give Bleach in the Yuha back arc and stuff like that is that he did legitimately kind of tie in the whole concept of Bleach's, of Ichigo's father happening to be a Shinigami, and the reasons why his Shinigami powers were sealed away and why they came back, and the fact that Eisen was like doing these really fucked up versions of Vasto Lordes, which were turning other people into other Shinigami into hollows. I did actually like that whole little story arc that kind of did nicely, and it didn't feel like too much post-rationalization, which usually feels really lumpy. I did kind of quite like how all of that fit in much later in the game. So yeah, Vasto Lorde Ichigo, I've got time for. And also hashtag Hardcore Crew, hashtag from way back. Oh my, you're an old schooler. And hashtag sip a cup of tea. Excellent, let's make do with coffee. Vic Villanueva says, hey Mikey. Hello Vic, how you doing, man? Lately I've been having issues with finishing a piece. Oh mate, I will make a mistake and decide to scrap the whole thing. Would you happen to have any advice on how to overcome bad creative decisions, or should I just keep tossing art into the piece once I make a mistake and start over? Vic Villanueva. Everyone has a little bit of a different style or attitude to that, because some people will kind of go into a piece, get halfway through, make a mistake that's maybe something you can't come back from. And this is something, by the way, which is a much easier answer in digital than it is on paper. But they'll be like, no, I like where the rest of the piece is going. I embrace that mistake. It's now part of the art, and I keep building up from there, which is incredible. It's brave, it's investigative, and it's open-minded, and I like that. So if you are really liking the feeling of doing a drawing, even though you've made a mistake partway through, but like you still want to continue that piece, do it. It depends what the piece is for. If it's a piece of artwork for somebody else and you've made a mistake, maybe you've got to bite the bullet. Don't be scared to stop yourself and say, okay, even though I kind of liked the idea of what I was doing, I've got to be critical. When I look at this, that just isn't quite working over there. If it's in digital, you can erase it and repaint. If it's on a real sheet of paper, God, maybe you've got to start again. Maybe you need to be mapping things out in pencil before you start inking down and reaching a point that you can't come away from. Again, if it's at a pencil stage, erase it and try once more. So yeah, if you need to kind of produce something that's got to be a bit more polished, maybe you need to be very critical of yourself and know when you need to start over, or at least know when something needs to change. But equally, part of the stuff that you can kind of enjoy with art is that a piece will become something completely different to how you envisaged it. Maybe it's because of a mistake, maybe it's simply organically forming as you're kind of drawing the piece. The piece is also guiding you. There's loads of kind of ways that you can look at it, and basically none of them are wrong. So if you're messing up, Vic, but you still really like drawing and you want to just fucking pretend that one section of a panel isn't there and put a big red X for it or something, but still enjoy doing the rest, take pleasure in the moment and crack yourself on, mate. Kurt Baker says, episode 100 idea. Excellent, I'm all ears. Do a really, and I mean really, not safe for work live stream on Twitch. But not like hentai or things. And do it in like 2 hours. Kurt Baker, what? None of that makes sense. A really, really not safe for work live stream, but do it on Twitch, but don't make it hentai and do it in 2 hours. Kurt Baker, that's a terrible idea. Basically, totally get your channel shut down. Absolutely get shut down for breaking T's and C's. And do it in 2 hours. That's no fun for anybody. Thank you for getting involved. Vontiami just leaves 2 hearts, which kind of both look like the hearts you get in Zelda. I am amazed that you made hearts appear in the comment section where I thought you could only do text. So, Jesus, share your secrets. Thank you. And Flickshow Trance says, that hits the right spot. Excellent, I'm very pleased. Ronald H. Campos says, sick bro, what pens were you using? Ronald H. What's an excellent question. I've been using a disposable mechanical 2B, well, not to be pencil. Oh, Jesus, that was awful. And also using, as well as the Tombow Fudenosuke soft and heavy pens, I've been using Mitsubishi fine liners, Mitsubishi micro fine liners, as well as their isographic pens by Mitsubishi, 0.05 and 0.3 nib pens. Those are kind of the things that sit in my little boy pencil case. But again, one day we'll do a pens conversation. That video is coming. NeoX says, hey Mikey, how are you? Not too bad, NeoX. I am... my sleeping pattern's still screwed over, by the way, because we've had that heat wave in the UK. I went ahead and moved most of my art production into the middle of the night where it's cooler in my room, because my room's a fucking oven in the middle of the day, guys. But it does mean I've screwed up my sleep pattern. I did it on purpose, but we're reaching a point where I do need now to put it back, and that's probably going to be a bit tougher than I usually thought. Anyway, that's a long answer. Otherwise, fine. And you continue to say, I wonder, did you go to an art school or did you learn to draw as a self-taught artist? By the way, very nice video. Thank you, man. So, yeah, as mentioned a little bit earlier, you've had most of that answer. Art school took art when I was, doing A-levels, so that's like up to 18. And then I did not quite an art, basically I took a bit of architecture at university, but I didn't take it all the way to the end of 3 years. So I kind of kept vaguely in the field, but the thing about architecture was it taught me very much that as much as I love drawing and designing buildings, I don't actually like the process of construction architecture. Or do I actually want to be an architect? I realised that relatively quickly into the course. So yeah, I did do those kind of things, but I've got to be perfectly honest. In terms of the skills of learning to draw in the style that I do now and what I'm up to, most of that really developed in the last 5 years. A lot of that did not come from way back. The passion for it certainly came from way back. But the actual skills, honestly, now it's a different playing field now, especially if you live in the UK. Political time. Something like 7 years ago, I don't know what it is anymore. The Tories got into power. They're the Conservatives, for those not in the know. And we're not here to have political opinions, but basically one of the things they did do is they raised the cost of university fees by an incredible amount. And they made going to university completely inaccessible to a massive swathe of the population. It's kind of it's like regentrification, basically. If you come from a rich family, you can afford to have extended education, and we're back at a point where if you don't, the amount of debt that you'll be put in was multiplied exponentially. It's fucking incredible. And even at the time, I was doing a French evening course, just whilst I was doing my day job, and I suddenly couldn't complete that course because the cost of the next year to basically I either had to complete the course the next 2 years of it in 1 year, which I wasn't going to be able to do as a part-timer. Otherwise, beyond that, the cost of it was going to jump from basically I paid something like £500 a term because I was on a low-income thing, and then the next year it was going to cost something closer to £5,000, and it was just fucking Tories, you're fucking us people who are trying to just trying to better ourselves and trying to basically social mobility is a fucking myth in this country. That's what I'm going to say. You're kept in your place. The whole system keeps you in your place. I'm not gonna hate about it. I'm not gonna cry about it. You're dealt the cards that you get in life, and all you can do is try to play them as well as you can. But my God. Anyway, so basically, what I'm saying is that 10 years ago, it wasn't cheap, but you could go to university or you could study these courses. Now, most of this knowledge is available for free if you've got the self control and the self-control. I feel like there's another word there, but self-conviction, maybe, something like that. If you're the kind of person who can actually sift through the good and the bad out there, because there's a lot of good free stuff and a lot of good shit stuff, a lot of free good stuff and a lot of free bad stuff. There we go. If you're the kind of person who can organize yourself to wade through that, create your own learning structure, buy some textbooks about how to draw. I'm always going on about Michael Hampton books and all these other digital art drawing books that are available out there. You can, for a fraction of a price, sit down for a year. Say that you want to study art at university or you want to become like a manga illustrator or something like that. You could not do that for a year. And you could learn everything that you can learn for free on online videos. You can read and learn everything you can from some very, very good textbooks, which don't cost you £5,000 a term. They're going to cost you £30 on Amazon, and you could buy like 10 of them and still be nowhere near like an incredible budget, if you know what I mean. And you could work through those, and you will learn so much from that as well. By the end of that year, you'll be able to make a really strong and conscious decision as to, do I want to keep teaching myself? Do I want to explore different methods? Do I just want to try to get some work experience? Am I going to solo it? Am I going to try to get like a really strong Instagram account and do some drawing on YouTube? Or have I learned enough about the world of drawing and like the business side to it? Like, where do I want to go with it? But I do know for a fact I need a qualification specifically for something else. Because to misquote another artist, Grigory Peppo, I believe his name, I always get his name wrong. To misquote another man, if you're making good art and you haven't gone to university, but you're selling prints online, for an example, have you ever made an art print of a character in anime? Someone's bought it and then they've written to you and said, oh wait, by the way, do you have a degree in art? Because if you don't, I want a refund. And do you think anybody's ever looked at your work and gone, oh, I don't want to buy any of that, I don't want to buy this print? And then later on they've gone, oh shit, but they went to university? Oh, well in that case I do like their art all of a sudden. It doesn't quite work like that. It's a different field, the field of illustration, and the kind of widening of the, the shrinking of the world due to the widening of the internet or whatever that is, certainly has affected this particular field, in my opinion, because that's all it is, guys. Just some loser's opinion. So, don't make it as gospel. But basically, you've got more options now than you used to. And I think, genuinely, you can learn a lot of things for free or for very little money. And that might not be the ultimate answer. But if you do that first, which costs you less, you're going to come off of that with a stronger idea of what it is you do and don't want to do of yourself. Higher Primate says, hey Mikey, hello Higher, I love your art. Thank you, man. Vids and Twitch stream. Oh, dude, you're a hardcore fan. Can't wait for a Brigitte drawing from you. Don't worry, she's on the list, dude. We'll get there. And Giovanni Garcia says, Mikey, can I have a Draw With Mikey FNAF characters? FNAF. Shit, why don't I know what that stands for? And can you draw worn out animatronic characters like Springtrap, please? Dude, I'm going to both Control C your comment, because there's a twofer there, two different requests. I'm going to put that in my notepad. But separately, I'm just going to type... I know, like, all of you guys right now are just like, Mikey, it's quite clearly this, because even you talk about it. FNAF. Oh, I don't know about it. It's Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, I don't know if I want to beg, because they're like creepy animatronic motherfuckers, aren't they? That kind of like... Isn't it something really fucking creepy? Like, they put... The human beings end up getting, like, you get your skin torn away or something, and then you're put inside of the animatronic suit, and, like, you live through the animatronic suit in this pseudo-living nightmare. It's like the end of Disney's The Black Hole. Do you ever remember that? Where you have a really bad guy at the end and a really bad robot in the end. They kind of float through space, and then they morph together, and the guy is, like, trapped living a nightmare inside of a robot suit on top of a mountain, like... covered in volcanic mist. Does this... I promise this was not a dream. That really happened at the end of the movie. Does that ring any bells? Anyway, FNAF, I really don't know, Giovanni, but thank you for the suggestions. Daisuke Uchiha says, also, I'd like a fan art-like sketches of different characters from Boku no Hero Academia, Naruto, Dragon Ball Super, etc. Yeah, I'll do more famous ones. Why not? To keep things interesting. Ishan Ahmed gives me a heart. Thank you very much. And AJ's Drawing Studio says, you fell off my comment before finishing reading it. Oh no, AJ's, I'm so sorry. No offense. Although if it was an essay, I might have missed it on purpose. By the way, so I'll let you know here, which is totally fine, but I wanted to tell you that Open Canvas is a relatively cheap drawing program. It's about as powerful as Photoshop in terms of the artistic side. Oh, I didn't skip this on purpose. It's not ringing any bells. But I'm not sure about its full potential. A review of it would be awesome. Hashtag hardcore crew, hashtag sip of coffee. Yes. Okay, Open Canvas. Yes, and copy and paste. Thank you, AJs. Cheers. Lovely. Daniel Rigg says, hashtag support Bleach anime. It's too late, mate. And Plo says, oh, Plo, how you doing, dude? Says, don't worry, Mikey. Liru people we're talking about will probably not get you in jail, but definitely not something that you want to show on YouTube. I hope you know what I mean. Oh, shit, I don't know what you mean. Although I'm sure it was a conversation about drawing characters which are over 18 versus, sexually representing characters which are under, which will get you into trouble. Besley TV says, did you ever thought about to make your own manga? P.S. Could you do a collab with White Manga? I love your art. Besley TV. I love White Manga stuff as well. My own manga, I do have one in my head. Like I've said before, it's at the writing stage and it's evolving, and like some of the character designs around and some of the plot of the first chapter is kind of down. But you guys have also warned me, don't think about it for too long and start doing it. Don't wait for it to be perfect, otherwise nothing will come out. Both very good points. So yeah, I've got that in my head. White Manga. Guys, I doubt I would do a collab with White Manga for one particular reason. That guy is an established mangaka. His artwork it's very heavily bleached influence. You can see that he's got that Kubo Tite style, but he's very much made that his own thing. And he's busy at work. Like, if he's publishing that, and I know he publishes for another online manga magazine as well, he's a fucking busy guy. He's probably not looking to collab with random people on YouTube, even if, like, I am a big fan of his work. And also, he's got a very dedicated art style, which fucking impresses me, because my artwork is all over the place. So that sounds like a great idea. But I doubt it, simply because I can just imagine what his working day must be like, and I'm pretty sure he's not a lazy man with free time. Dialeli Yapo says, I am your admirer. Oh, Dialeli, thank you. And Vicious Drawing says, I would like Sunday for a DWM. Okay, so one for Sat, one for Sun. It looks like the overall theme, though, is put it in the weekend whilst you guys aren't at school and stuff like that. Okay, because already I didn't know that for a fact as being a good idea, but it's quite clearly making sense. Sweet Diablo says, I really like your voice. Are you going to colour this picture? Sweet Diablo, thank you, and no. But, if you ever want to screen grab it and colour it in yourself, fill your boots. Erroneous says, amazing work. Or, actually, if you want a high quality version, I should plug myself. Oh my god. Jesus. I've just realised that saying I should plug myself sounds like some horrible sexual technique. Basically, if you want copies of that art sheet for just as little as $2, or wait, maybe it's just even $1, I'm changing things. On Patreon, you can have copies of my artwork. Guys, this is what I should be saying at the start of every video. There's going to be some changes to Patreon. I've been in touch with my patrons to talk about possible ideas. This month might well be the last month that you can sign up for as little as $1 or $2 a month and get full access to the whole back catalogue of everything. I'm going to start tidying up the archive, because there's stuff on there from like 2 years ago that needs to go. So if you're ever curious, $2 down now, scroll through the entire history, download everything, and you're going to get it, because this time next month, I don't think that's going to be an option. Getting access to the archive will still be there, but like I think you have to pay a little bit more, and like I'm only going to leave things on for 2 or 3 months or something like that. It's all up in the air, but basically changes. Juko Dreams has come up with a long paragraph, so I'm going to skim my way through. Have you ever watched an anime called Arpeggio of a Blue Steel? It's the first one you ever watched. It's pretty good. It's got fan service and ship battles. Oh my goodness. Oh god, maybe I'm aware of this. I haven't watched it, but is this where you've got loads of pictures of girls in navy uniforms, but you've got like tiny little cannons like hanging off their hips and on their shoulders and stuff? Anyway. Also, talking about the vault of locked up memories, one of my most now you've got my attention. One of my most traumatizing memories is the half-human, half-xenomorph alien from Alien Resurrection. Oh my god, that was so fucking disgusting. Also, there's a bit, like, if you guys watch Alien Resurrection, and it is like it's so much goo. Literally, I would describe that film as having too much goo. There's a bit where that half-breed xenomorph at the end is getting sucked out of a window, spoiler alert, and if you watch it and it's going, and like all the wind is kind of getting sucked out the ship, so it's like, it's really gross. But there is a bit in it where the noises make the alien sound like it literally says, my leg, and it just goes, and it just goes, my leg! By the way, I am so sorry if you've got headphones on and that just happened for you. I've just realised how high-pitched I went. But guys, if you watch that, like me and my mate just used to watch that one clip and just like rewind it and watch it and rewind it and watch it, because it was just like, what the fuck is it saying? But yeah, that was fucking gross. Ichigo drawings are amazing. Thank you very much. It's very, very kind of you. I'm still skimming my way through. Do some Tokyo Ghoul stuff. Okay, I'll keep it on the list. For 100, I suggest drawing a huge collage of all of your old drawings from the DWMs. Or maybe a single character from each one and draw them all in a collage together. Hashtag Hardcore Crew. Duke of Dreams. Maybe not from the DWMs. Maybe from the SASs because they're a bit more popular. But redraw older works live and updated. Question mark? Thank you for the suggestion, good sir. Monkey, also with a long one, says, hello Mikey, I just finished listening to this episode. Monkey, thanks very much for tuning in, man. I wanted to ask you to maybe do an updated version of your male characters drawing tutorial. Yes, that old one is not up to spec. I do need to do a new one, yes. Like the Shonen and Bishonen styles. Talart does some good video tutorials. Oh, I'll have to check them out as well, thank you. You're making a webcomic for the website Webtoon called Midnight Mirage. Oh, dude, that's fucking awesome. I'm doing it to force myself to learn and better understand art and how to draw characters in the backgrounds and different angles and positions. It's improved my art a lot. Monkey, this is a thing. And this kind of comes back to those earlier questions we had. Having to do art, like having to get it done, is a great way to do art. Having a deadline, having to produce something for somebody else, that's going to make you do it, and making yourself do it, and if you have like the right attitude, it's going to make you learn, it's going to make you improve. Excellent, Monkey, thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to copy your commento for the Talart reference more than anything. Mercy. And Dark Blood Fato Hermanus says, idea for 100, draw a sketch with tea instead of ink. Oh my god, that's a thing! You can paint! Guys, you can paint with coffee, you can paint with tea. Oh my god, tea watercolour. Dark Blood, get yourself a can of Coke. I love it already. I love it already. I probably won't do it now, but I love it. Dancing Macarena in a Halle Berry Catwoman cosplay without the blank face, of course, whilst we're on that topic. Oh my god. That part I might not be able to do. That rant you went on in episode 98 about people who say Halle Berry was a better Catwoman than Michelle was freaking brutal, Chief. I was in tears laughing. That was severe passion. Yes. I am sorry. Sometimes I get a bit passionate and hype about a few things like that. And it's always like, I'm always the most passionate about topics that really don't fucking matter in life. You know what I mean? But they're the ones I really like to sink my teeth into because like it's safe to be passionate about that. I'm probably not going to have like a passionate public opinion about like abortion or religion or anything like that because everyone's got their own views and you've got to respect that shit. And if you've got an opinion, it's kind of smarter to keep quiet about it and keep that sort of shit to yourself. But when it comes to stuff like that, like if you want to fucking tell me that Halle Berry is a better Catwoman, I'll fucking punch you in the face. I won't punch you in the face. But like, when I sort of respectfully disagree with you, I'm going to mumble under my breath and I'll punch that guy in the face. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, hope that makes sense. P.S. It's pronounced Tuto. Oh, Tutto. Oh, Dark Blood Tutto Hermanus. The A is pronounced like up. Toto. Sorry. Sorry, guys. It sounds like I'm just struggling to read English, which is literally what's happening. And the O is unlike the word top. Tato. Oh, Tato. Dark Blood Tato Hermanus. PSSS. It's a Tswana name from South Africa. Respect the gangster of your reach. Oh my god. Where in the world is everybody from? Reach for, maybe you're just sitting there doing your art. Put your pencil down, put your pen down. Don't put your watercolour painting into your mug of tea, because I've done that 100 times. Put your brush in the water. Be safe. Reach forward, only for a split second, I'd love to. Don't even say hello if you don't want to. Just name what country you're from. I'm so curious. South Africa. That's so cool, dude. I'm so sorry for... Because sometimes I ruin people's names because they've just got really crazy names that they've put in for the hell of it. And you know what? People are going to get it wrong, deal with it. But if I'm actually ruining your name that is legitimately just from another language and I'm being like, culturally insensitive or just basically shit at being open-minded, then I do apologise. But thankfully you've done your best to teach me and I appreciate that, brother. Nice, I like it. South Africa. Azure June says, the drawing is amazing. I love this anime. Yeah, Bleach had its good bits. And Toroya Hollis says, hey Mikey. Hello, Toroya. Could you do a tutorial on drawing the torso, please? Another one! Bloody another one! Yeah, I can and I will. That's a great suggestion. I've been focusing on the hips recently, but we need to talk about the torso, the body in whole. I will very much be doing that, don't you worry. Crow Fate says, I've never clicked so fast and so late. I like that combo. And Rinung Salio says, hi Mikey. Hello Rinung. I love your drawings. Can you draw 02? It would be nice if you can. Yes, I can. I kind of just didn't because, like, the hipster in me, not that there is one over here, I'm just a loser. The hipster in me, and don't worry, I don't like hate myself. I just casually call myself a loser just to kind of remind myself that I'm not half as cool as anyone might think that I am. Because everybody was doing 02, I literally was just like, I'm not going to draw that right now. I hadn't even watched Darling in the Franxx back then, so I didn't even know what all the hype was about. I did draw 02 in a tablet review, but that probably doesn't count as a full-on SAS, so we will make a sexy version in the future. I was really up for it at one time, but I like to hang out on Rakes. You guys must know who Ronaldo is. Rakes live streams when he's on Twitch. And he, in his Patreon, was doing, I'm going to advertise Rake's Patreon. Why not? He's an incredible artist. In his Patreon, if you join him, by the way, tell him Mikey sent you. In his Patreon, he did this massive Darling in the Franxx fan art that was so fucking good and so fucking sexy. But I was just like, oh, fuck it. I'm not going to do it right now. I'll wait till that's calmed down. Jesus. Anyway. The Legacy says, I'm not going to be able to see the live stream for episode 100. Oh, you've got work. But if it's on here later, I'll watch it. Or at least listen to it anyway. Anyway, I have to... Oh, you listen to this whilst you're at work. Dude, have a good day at work if you're listening right now. And cheers. Hashtag sip of tea. Hashtag sip of coffee. Hashtag whatever tablet do you use. Hashtag hardcore crew. Well, seeing as you asked, right now I'm using the GT220 version 2. With the 8K level pens. Before it was a GT191, and I have had the older GT220 before, but it only had the 4K pen. So we're just nudging ourselves up. Oh, there's a whole story behind this last tablet review. It's so long. Ask me another time. Anyway, how are we doing for time? Not too bad. I'm bursting for a wee, guys, but I think we're going to hardcore it out right to the end. Maybe drinking this coffee will help that feeling. Nope, it's just increased the need to wee. T-Skull1 says, I will definitely try to catch the live stream for episode 100. Thank you so much, guys. We're going to, once I get to episode 95, we're going to start doing some, countdown hype for episode 100. But I will have to do a test run on YouTube first. Oh my God, I need to start thinking about this properly. I do have a question. How do you get better if you're pressed for money to spend on drawing tablets or drawing books? Any advice would be appreciated. Thank you, Mikey. T-Skull1, I hope I've answered that already to a certain degree. YouTube, even if you can't afford a drawing book, and even if you can't afford a drawing book secondhand, which is a bit of a tough push, there's still loads of free resources online. Just watch loads and loads of free videos, loads and loads of free how-tos. There are loads and loads of websites which, and obviously you kind of want to avoid illegally downloading PDFs of people's drawing books if they're trying to help you and you're not kind of buying their work, but you can find those naughty resources out here. I'm not condoning that. But there are also websites on how to draw with loads of visual reference materials on there. There's streamers on Twitch who do literal drawing study sessions where they're going to study like how to draw arms in a particular thing, and then everybody live in the audience gets to, paint along at the same time and have a go at home. So T-Skull, there are resources. You do not have to start by putting down money. I do certainly recommend you are going to need to buy a pen or a pencil. So you're going to need like a few dollars to buy like maybe just a pack of cheap pencils. You don't even need a pencil kit. You don't need to buy yourself like, the range from -5H up to 6B or whatever it is. Just grab yourself a 2B pencil. In my personal humble opinion, a 2B pencil is one of the most versatile tools in art you'll ever grab your hands on. And good news, they're not that expensive to buy at a shop. So grab yourself some 2B pencils. Paper, don't even wait for having... if you can get yourself a sketchbook and keep all of your ideas and all of your work in one book, that's really fucking cool. I think sketchbooks are fantastic. Don't even have to wait for that. Literally, pull out some sheets of paper from a printer. Printer paper I use all the time in all of my tutorials. I like to do that, and I like to use a cheap pencil simply because you don't have to buy really high quality stuff. High quality stuff is really nice. There is a point to it, but you don't have to start with that. That's why I keep things so low tech in my videos, simply because I understand where you're coming from. People can't always afford shit. But thankfully with art, you don't have to. Anyway, God, I fucking love drawing, and I just don't let something hold you back. Just grab what you can and start drawing. Anyway, sorry man, it's really close to my heart, that topic. Mikale Tendai says, yes, it's Tobey Maguire. What? You want me to do Tobey Maguire work? Oh, wait. Oh, God, I was asking about Spider-Man, wasn't I? Thank you. Thank you, Mikale. Thank you. Matthew Applegat says, love your work. You've helped me a lot with my own art style. You're welcome. It's a pleasure, of course. And Drowned121 says, Mikey, I never catch your live streams. At what hour do you start streaming usually? On Twitch? It's usually... so you've got to change this to GMT or UK England time, but it's usually sometime in the evenings on the weekdays and most of the daytime and Sunday if I can manage to free up the time. Drowned121, follow me on Twitter because I will always tweet an hour before I go live just so that everyone can pop in and say hi if we can make that work. Okay, Yeto Provin says suggestions for 100. Do free giveaways. They don't all have to be tablets. Yes, we could do print giveaways as well. Yes, giveaways. We are definitely doing giveaways in the DWM 100. It's going to be a celebration. My Art, Your Design or two. I like it. Sketchbook, natural stuff. Yeah. I'm saving up my pennies, guys. I'm going to try to buy a second webcam. Pretty much just another copy of my first webcam. So that with any luck, we can switch between digital art and also, you know, looking at the sketchbook whilst you still have my face in the corner sort of thing. Yeah. I'm up for that. I'm up for that. Thank you so much for the suggestions. That being said, we are pushing it for time for this episode, so I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to grab one more comment. Guys, if I've missed what you've got to say, don't take it personally, please, but do copy and paste it into next week's episode. I greatly appreciate that, and with any luck, I will catch your delicious comments again. Everybody who comes in and says hello in this series, it means a lot to me. It really is the only reason why we kind of do all of this stuff. I greatly appreciate it. Let's quickly look at Galaxy 900, who's saying, hey Mikey, I'm not going to ask how it's going, since you've probably said it already. You're good. You've been listening to these episodes before. But I do have a question. Do you ever have a clear image of what you want to draw, but when you go to do it, it just doesn't work? Oh, brilliant. We've pretty much answered that when we were talking about mistakes and artwork guiding the piece. Yeah, absolutely. This is the magic of art. There's a different adventure every time. Adventure, he says, not leaving his own house in order to get things done. But you can have a really clear understanding of what you need to do and produce it and measure it against your expectations, and it does or doesn't meet that, and try again and try to get it a bit more perfect. Or you can sit down and do something that's organic. It guides you as much as you're guiding it, and then you kind of see what comes out at the end. And they're the ones that can really surprise you and really please you into kind of discovering something a bit different about a style. There's so much to do and so much to say about that. But yes, basically, absolutely both. Hashtag Hardcore Crew, hashtag Sip of Tea. That is a great place to end it. Thank you very much. A super big hello to everybody I've not managed to see their comments. I will, of course, after this episode, because there's loads. There's loads of you who have genuinely done relatively long comments, by the way. And I'm seeing like episode 100 as I'm scrolling through, just as a keyword, pick up every now and then. So I'm certainly going to wrap up now, but read all of these and take your suggestions. Thank you so much for giving me the feedback. Obviously, none of this happens without you guys turning up to say hi and stuff like that. However, the reason why we keep going and I'm able to eat food, pay rent. Do you like the idea that Mikey's alive and he's able to have a roof over his head? Because so does Mikey. Why? Why does he do that? Well, I'll tell you, it's not because of YouTube money. That's fucking hell for sure. Not with my kind of channel and content. It's because of you delicious patrons on Patreon, giving me support to various tiers. For as little as $1 a month, you can have access to all of the worksheets we do for tutorials. For $2, you get copies of the artwork. It goes up and you get more. I give back as much as you give to me. Although really it's mostly you guys just taking pity on me and giving me charity money, which I totally accept. So let's shout out to Damu M, Cuddlebum, The Travelling Wolf, Richard S, Joe R, Mad Duck, Garrett C, Ryder2KX, Michael S, Trent H, Jorgen A, Luke C, Johnny T, Connor M, Julio Felix O, Rob, Kamari J, Jamie, Cache Commando, Mizzino, Grizzly, Mr. Turtle, Matthew G, Simon B, Garrett, Taylor S, Kenneth J.H., hello, welcome. Amongchi L, Angry H, Johnny Y, oh no, it's Angry Hermit. Johnny Y, Ollie, Garrett, Immoral Muffin, Christian L, Tokiko K, Timothy B, Minion715, Ken E, Wendell S, Zahaki, Fatness, Kurt D, Natasha G, and LMA Gamer. Big ups to all of you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Further extended to all of the names you've had scrolling across your screen. Further extended to everybody who's on all of the lower tiers of Patreon as well. Just giving over like as little as $1 a month. That's so cool because hopefully most of you who are working jobs can afford to do that in the long term. Massively adds up for me at this end as well and makes all of this physically doable. Guys, I hope you have a bloody lovely week and I'll see you next time. Take care.